Unwritten. Tommy Taylor and the ship that sank twice. Part 2. The 19th writing, late, manic. It's like taking shape now, but I'm utterly fed with up to the teeth and the bars of brain pan with the bloody London. I just swapped to find me a place far from the muddling gits who plague me here. I gave him May 5th for publication date. It's our best guess for the bird. March 21st. In Switzerland. Bits of a radical solution, but one swap showed me the picture. It stands to grow on me. It's a long way from anywhere. A very long way. A native of us speaks French. So the distractions wouldn't even be there if we went looking for them. Sue was appalled. She's scared that when it comes to the bird, she'll be surrounded by people who don't speak the same language as her. Plugs into my hands. Actually, I promised her a home delivery, as it was a big concession. But that was what I wanted in any case. Up to us when we notify the authorities and get a certificate drawn up. No public time of bird, a bit of a mystery. Start the light, go off the right foot. It works for me. Also, that much easier to include a bit if we're at home and in control of the process. April 2nd, the data is perfect. The middle of nowhere. Peas and corn, 40 on some rooms. This far into the third trimester. This is not very limber. So in a space as big as this, I don't have to meet her at all, if I don't want to. May 5th. My waters have broken, so announced. And that was the day's writing lost right there. But in the circumstances, I can hardly complain. So I am a father. Tommy, I'm your father now. That part of the death was easy. Deal. No need to induce acid to out, and no need to tell Sue that was the part of the plan. Two years passed. So Sparrow was a student now. So she and Tommy saw but little of each other during the school days. Like Ambulo. In the evening, on the Sundays, he helped her learn the spells. Obduro. Dermis Obduro. In theory, Tommy was still a schooler boy, but he absented himself more and more from his duties, and nobody approached him. Somebody he knew, nobody would. Sebastian and Leonor Taylor, the greatest mages of their generation, some said. Tommy read the obituary, and even his tender age was aware of so much that wasn't been said. What was the ocean voyage from which they were returning? Why was so little said about its goal and the circumstances in which ship was lost? Sebastian and Leonor Taylor lost at sea. The conclave admitted last night that the matter had gone down with all hands at mid-Atlantic. It struck unlikely that conclave made Sebastian and Leonor survive the wreck. They left behind Thomas, who is now in their custody. And if those were truly Thomas' parents, then why was he so lacking in one quality in which they excel? Where was his spark? There was one duty taught that Tommy never shirked, and to which he looked forward with undiminished excitement, drawing water from the wheel race behind the school. The great water wheel had been designed by current Professor Tulkinghorn's 5 times great-grandmother. It was powered by magic, but the magic was built into the wood itself, so it would respond to the word of anyone who wished to use it, sparkless or not. The house wants water. Watching the great throats fill at those few bar words, Tommy imagined what it would be like to command the word and make it jump to obey. It would feel a need in him he could hardly admit to himself. He saw a mystery that would be his alone, a language whose hidden potency would astonish all around. But it pleased him too that others beside him could benefit from those studies. Bless you, Tommy. She does love your stories. She's always asking when you'll visit next. Looks like Westcott. Better, but light's still coming out with the greenish thing, and it tastes of mint. I was thinking of mint when I cast it. It's hard to keep your mind clear. Okay, let's do some revision. List of the 7 types of offensive spells. Periodics, physical missiles, elemental magic, sundering forces, metamorphosis, compulsions and coercions. One more. I give up. Temporal and casual bridges. We got the 2 test next week. The Intra-Sangent box. It's meant to be the hardest thing we've ever done. It's Leonessa magic. What's Leonessa? A bit of Albion that went away, where the old white magic used to live. Oh, that's just a story, isn't it? It turns up in lots of stories. That doesn't mean it isn't true, Tommy. The mages of Leonessa, they took their magic out of the water because the water wasn't strong enough to bear it. People say the magic was like a great light shining in the darkness. A light in the darkness? This is a good thing, isn't it? It depends. There are things that live out in the darkness and they get drawn to the light. Only it's not light really, it's the spark. It's hard to explain now to someone who's sparkless. I get it. You'd better run. I'll see you after your hexing lesson. Okay. See you later, Tommy. Try not to think of mint. I will. You're slumped, and science settled like the dust in the corridors as the next lesson began. Tommy stood very still. For a very, very, very long moment, only a friend can squash you as fast as that. When he finally moved, it was in the direction of the library. In times long past, see adequate age Saturna Legna, the kingdom of Lernessa was a part of Albion. To the south and west of where Cornwall is now located. It covered the area as some 1400 square miles, and its capital city, Caris, was populated in equal measure by humans and people of the Aes-Shida. History Lernessa is inextricably entwined with that of the old white magic, a thaumaturgical system interwoven energies which has now vanished from the earth and whose theoretical basis and internal logic are no longer known. The old war magic is commonly thought to have been many thousands of times stronger than the dramaturgy of the modern era. The Magian of Lionessa are reported to have been able to make the sun move in the sky, to have added entire dimensions to physical space, to have conquered and turned back time, and therefore achieved immortality, and so on. While some of those stories have grown in detailing, a few Lionessa artifacts still extend to display remarkable properties which modern magic can neither copy nor explain. While modern magic depends mostly on the spoken words as dramatic focus, Lionessa magic subsists in engraved runes, music, patterns of light on water, or any other pattern or escaped totality. Its endurance without fading or weakening in the places where it was formerly used is indeed one of its most striking characteristics. At some point in the past, before the rising of our current civilization, the maids of Lionessa moved the entire land away from Albion to a far distant place, the distance in question being one that is not strictly measurable in 3 dimensions, since it subtends across the magical hyperplanes of Taraktua and Frax, as well as across the trans-temporal. Show-offs. They thought their spark was brighter than anyone's. Students of the art magical querents of the Succum Arcanum, you have studied for 2 years, unlocked timeless secrets, and mastered unfathomable skills. You have also over the past 10 years set no fewer than 17 examination designed to test all that you have learned. Today the test of the intransigent box is not one that you intended to pass, but the manner of your failure will be observed and assessed. Points will be awarded for originality and lateral thinking. The intransigent box is shielded against our magical attack. Once closed, it cannot be opened or pierced by any force. It will open only when the owner bids it. The owner, in this case, by myself. You shaking, Peter? I have to pass this test. I got a perfect unwritten charms and words, but Warfeet is ahead of me in thaumaturgy. Observe. I will write on this paper a single word and place it in the box, which I close. So, in order to pass, you need only tell me what is written on the paper. You might proceed. Operitus Boralis liquidur penamento. Camera explosio verabus volantus internum pinxit. Time's up. Stay in your places. Your answers will not be collected. Make sure you both your name and your candidate number area on the paper. No name, no nixismus. Well, as I said, the point of the test was to there's some error here. 281 candidates, 281 papers. Candidate 281, you have neglected to write your name on your paper. Please stand up. That's my paper, Professor. I slipped it in with the rest when I collected them. But your paper is blank to me. You didn't answer the question. Yes, I did. This is my answer. The maze of Lionessa had conquered the time, and the run of the box is the run of unwinding. Whatever word you wrote on the paper was unwritten as soon as the box closed. The paper is blank. Absolutissimus correctissimus. On every count, well done, Tommy, well done, my boy. But the test is only for students. That's right, so a kitchen boy can sit an exam. Price and Hexley, you will kindly resume your seats, yes. What you say is true. Tommy cannot be graded on this test. He can only make the rest of you look foolish and unworthy of the spark that nature kindled in you. With those words, whether he knew it or not, Professor Tulkinghorn had painted a target on Thomas' back. Tommy knew it well enough and stayed on his guard from then on. But the school has too many blind alleys and secluded corners, and predators are patient when they know for sure their time will come. Well, look, the cat sucked up. Curse the screen, Hexless. No tissues inside. I don't want to fight, you Hexless. No? Then just lie back and take it, scholarly boy. Pugnosin. Teram resurgus. So get out of this, it's my fight. Well, that's like a big one, Tommy. I thought there'd be enough to go round. Of Fugosokulji. No, so you're not even worth a sparkler, boy. Why should we waste magic on a sparkless little wit like you? Only 5 against 1, Hexley. You're going to wish you had a few more friends. Pile on you, man. Give him bins. Look at that, Huxley. And has Mace really given Taylor a kicking? Someone should tell a teacher. None of our business, old man. Hold him still. This episode that boiling spell works for blood. Oh, that's a bit much, Huxley. Let's find out. Conflagranti. Leave him alone, you rotten cowards. Price you warm. I smash your frigidary. That's better now. What have we here? A battle royale? Oh, then the brook worthy of the professional ring rather than an educational establishment. Few dormitories suspended from lessons for a week. Master Taylor has no lessons, of course, so he will spend that week peeling potatoes and carving them into the likenesses of former British Prime Ministers. Excellent hominets. Whenever a student went in disgrace, the school flag flew at half-mast. A tradition introduced a century before the Professor Tulkinghorn's grandfather, who had served in the Royal Family Navy. You were really brave today, Peter. Yeah, thanks for the help, Bryce. Actually, was about to boil me alive in my own juices. You're welcome. Only peace you don't tell anybody. My mother is already furious with me for me coming second in the tests. If she finds out I've been getting into fights, she'll go into orbit. And how are the potatoes coming, Taylor? Alright, I suppose. Lord Palmerston is the hardest. It's almost impossible to get to nose, right? May 15th. She was wrecked by the bird, and now she seems to be wrecked by everything else too, but I planned for this, and I think on some level it was my preferred option. Enter Calliope and Margidan. Calliope is a fast trail and outrageous are more driven, and you can have more difference in PR, but my judge is a wizard, whereas she's my wife and Tom's mother, and the fact that she doesn't even exist doesn't seem to be much of a barrier to that. She briefly adopted the name by Deadpool. Immediately, prior to the birth, I told her it was to avoid my negative publicity that might arise from Tom being a bastard, and that is a past of it. So the mother's name was part of the birth certificate in Calliope Madigan, and since Sue then took her own name again a week later, the paper tray from Calliope leads nowhere. No photos of Calliope, no public utterances from Calliope except the one I write myself. No danger of Calliope going off message. No need to put Sue in front of a camera even once. Thank God. In the end, of term approaches, the conclave of Major descended on the school in all its former pomp and majesty. Foremost among them was Peter's mother, the formidable Petronella Price. She carried a wicker basket, within which something could be seen to move. Honored colleagues, welcome to the academy. I understand you've come on business of some importance. We didn't ride 200 miles from London to borrow a cup of sugar or Tonkin, but those are private matters as well as pressing ones. Of course, we'll convene in the Apocrynon at once if you feel that time is of the essence. I have refreshments served there. Thank you, Professor. That would be Peter. Mother, I had to stop in reports of you, Peter. You are not applying yourself to your studies? Oh no, I am. Honestly. You allowed yourself to be beaten into second place in the end of year exams. A dreadful stigma for the prize lineage to bear. And now I learn that you were suspended from lessons. And for fighting, no less. For brawling like a common hooligan. It won't happen again, Mother. No, it won't. I am removing you from the academy at the end of the current academic year. Your younger brother, Patrick, will have been through his proving by then. He will supply your place here, and will no doubt maintain our family's honor more zealously than you have done. Come, Porcino, let's get this done. The thought of actual recovering the Demeter's cargo. Yes, that would be a wonderful thing. And of course, we could finally determine what happened to the Taylors. You thinking that it would have taken more than a shipwreck to kill them? Well, Leona was the strongest major ever met, and Sebastian almost as powerful as... She doesn't mean it. Oh yes, she does. It's not fair. You got into that fight helping me. Maybe I go to your mother and explain. Thanks, Tommy. But she won't listen. She doesn't really do listening. Maybe she's right. With it did make me look like a pudding in thaumaturgy. You've got the spark, and this is the best place for you to learn to use it. You have to stay. Well, I'll study together. Now, get better, you see. Nobody has a better memory for spells than Tommy. What are the conclave doing here, anyway? Are they not even supposed to leave London at all the same time in case the French invade? It must be something really important. It's about something called the matter, Tommy. I heard Magister DeWitt talking about it. The matter? That was the ship my parents were on when they died. What did she say? She said maybe it wasn't the sinking of the ship that killed them. Maybe it was something else. The council will come to order. Recognizes Professor Shadrach Tulkinor as an observer, ex officio, for the duration of all present proceedings. The conclave is most generous, but afraid to see the reason for yet another meeting of this vexed subject. You mean you can't bear to see Sebastian Taylor's last mission bear fruit? That is not what I mean. It's 10 years since the matter sank, 10 years since the ocean opened like a throat and swallowed your argosy. Monsters rose from the deep that night, and the sky wept blood. To forgive me, I always forgot which of you take milk. I suggest we leave the tea and nicest for another time. I issue the muffins, or at least I requested muffins. Mrs. Sparrow is normally only too happy to... I spoke hastily. There are no muffins. The situation has changed, Talkington. That is why we're here. Meow. By the 7, it can't be. Such a good cat. Such a beauty. You know this animal, then? Of course I do. Her name is Mingus. She is Sebastian Taylor's familiar inscript against his name in the book of record, but I had thought her lost. Along with her master, how does she come to be here? We believe he sent her before him as a messenger. But some tide of magic, like the tide of water that sank the Demeter through her sidelong in time. It has taken her this long to find her way to us. She materialized 3 days ago atop the dome of St. Paul's. Remarkable. That is not the remarkable part. As Albertus said, she bears a message. Take one of the cat's feathers and bespick it. Forgive me, old Fleabag. You will be compensated with cream and smoked haddock. Penaxuati, pena violenti, pena percoli. Howling hard fire winds, and it must be said fairer fortune, the witch king was supremely generous and granted all requests without Sebastian, Dad, asking anything for any payment in return, huge cautions, towed and loading and handling of such a volatile cargo. Needless to say, we took the warnings very seriously. We placed the treasure where no covetous eye can see it, nor greedy hand touch it. But voyage, so far, has been without incident, except, that is, for a curious box, which the captain sighted yesterday, floating off our port bow. He brought it abroad, but it has proved impossible to open. The rune anathema is inscribed upon it, and it there you see. Wow, Petronella, what am I supposed to see? Shh. Don't be obstinate, Dunkelton. This is proof that the Demeter succeeded in her mission. The ship sank with a full hull. I never denied that possibility, but I believe that the tailor's son did the matter for a reason, and until we know, it seems so deliberations were less private than we thought. What are your students talking to? Boys. Will be boys, Petronella. And perhaps you'll forgive the Sank man his trespass if I tell you that his name is Tommy Taylor. Tommy? Thomas Taylor? The son of Sebastian and Leona? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter in Iota. Put him outside at once. I want this matter taken to a vote. Nothing doing, Tommy? That threw me out. But I know what they're going to do. June 13th. Our brother think it's a struggle now. Sue refused to lend to me hours to the photographers for more than an hour or so at a time. She's dedicated that after all, the whole Calliope business is a bit demeaning, and so she wants to come out publicity as Tom's mother. When I told her that was impossible, now she flew over the handle and we ended up screaming at each other. The thought of letting her do an interview now, oh Jesus wept. So now I kept our interviews strictly offside. Photographers come to the house. Everything else happens at the storefront I opened in Zurich. She hated that too, but can't object to it without punctuation and her default position, which is that no of this nonsense matters anyway, but it does. As the photo record of the Tom's first month is a not parched dead alike. The story how Calliope get pregnant on the night when the idea for Tommy first hit me, that it happened even though she was on the pill and shouldn't have been able to conceive. It's everywhere now. It's turning into a man. Everywhere I don't feed it, it grows. And now the fact that Calliope herself is such a mysterious, which is to say absent, figure plays nicely into that. We're restoring ourselves, which is how it has to work. And the boy who's the hero of that story seems to be driven through all this. He cries a lot, but I thought that's part for the cause. August the 1st book went into its ninth printing, and is everything and slightly shocked. He's a coming down those days like a man who got his jacket couch in the door of a temple train and is being dragged along the platform with his arms flailing. He's never moved at Zaid gazed opens before. Speed of Zaids, can I use that somewhere? Not in the tummy, obviously, but in an interview. I'm making good headway on book 2, strikes while Danino's white hot. It's kind of astonishing, really. On the one hand, I don't have time. And I'm mostly thinking about stuff when I'm with him itching to get back to it, hammer out a few more pages. No, it makes no biological sense, but I find myself thinking, because there's a boy there, must be more of me in him than of her, that his small seed from which a new me is visibly growing. I wonder if he'll ever come to understand what I'm doing for him, to him, if he'll be grateful. 9 p.m. Have to stop there to put Tom to bed with Sue out of commission most of the time, having a lot more contact with him than I expected. And the other, well, Jesus. If you gotta forgive. Is the crux of a vast enterprise which has to have one foot in the red world and one in the books. Back in the Oxford, Barfield used to talk about how when humanly first learned to speak, the literal and metaphorical levels of language were on the same. Spirits mean beneath and wind and soul, all three simultaneously and without ambiguity. Tom will mean Tommy, and Tommy will mean Tom. The real world will point to the fiction back to the reality, and so on, like particles circling in a super corridor until they impact each other, and something new is born. But I wish a little bigger would slip through the night. Which King the immortal ruler of the lioness AD 3 and 70 question mark. So that's where the Demeters went. She came back with a cargo. It has to be something magical. And that is the anathema. It marks barriers that must not be crossed and doors that must not be opened. Whatever was in that box they found, it was something very, very bad. Hey, there's something wrong with my book. The letters are unwritten themselves. Confiscated. Professor Tulkinghorn said we just... I didn't ask what you were doing, Master Price. It does occur to me to wonder, however, why you are out of your transmutation lesson. Run along, please. I like a word with Tommy. So I know you saw me this afternoon, and I want to thank you for... No, Tommy, you don't owe me any thanks. All my life I shrunk from hard decisions, and many of those decisions related in some way to you. Is there something you know, then, Professor? Something you've kept from me? You were on that ship, with your parents on the night it sank. They got you to safety, somehow, with the help of an old acquaintance, and they sent you to me. The invention was that I should raise you. You sent me to work in the kitchens. Hello. You never even spoke to me, never told me what my name was. True. I had reasons to be jealous of your father. Perhaps it clouded my judgment, but I knew it was no storm that had killed him. It was something very, very old and very terrible, drawn to the cargo as a needle is drawn to a magnet. Magical treasure from Lioness. That's the big secret, yeah? But why did keep the secret man lying to me?